chances are that if you've seen this one, you also seen this one and this one. People tend to correlate hating a character with bad writing, which is absolutely not the case. We can all agree that King Joffrey from Game of Thrones was awful, but well written. In the same vein, Skylar from Breaking Bad and Wendy from Ozark are deep and complex characters that made their respective stories thrive. Abby from Ray Donovan is the complete opposite of my previous statement. These three women have a couple of things in common: criminal husbands, affairs, and most importantly, people hate them with a passion. But why? Let me start with Abby. Has no motivations, no skills, no hobbies, no friends, and no aspirations. And she stayed like that until she was killed off. Well, yeah, she got that bar, but at that point, it didn't matter. You can give her the fact that there wouldn't be a show if she didn't bring Mickey into the picture. Some will describe her as naggy, annoying, and a waste of screen time. Personally, I refer to her as someone who lacked stimulation and with a husband who didn't see the point in communicating with his wife. A husband who was constantly cheating and pushing her away. Time to move on to Skylar, a woman who saw her husband change before her very own eyes without truly understanding what was going on. She was supportive of him when his cancer diagnosis came along. Then she found out he was lying and gaslighting her for months. Despite this, and for her family, she laundered money for him, but when she realized that he was more than a med cook, she naturally wanted to distance herself from what she recognized as a monster. She's also labeled as annoying and naggy. Oh, Wendy, you don't get it as bad as Abby, but oh boy, do they hate you. Some people even have the crazy idea that you're worse than the Walter White, the Heisenberg. You know, the one that poisoned a kid, basically ended James, bombed a nursing home, got his brother-in-law killed, plus a bunch of other characters, and oh, sexually assaulted his wife. But people are not ready to talk about that one. Moving on. Wendy, a power-hungry narcissist who will do anything to achieve her goals. She was confident, intelligent, assertive, and charismatic. Let's talk about their affairs. I'm against infidelity, so the cheat for cheat is out of the table. But I'll say, just leave him is not as easy as it sounds. Otherwise, people will leave toxic and abusive relationships in a breeze. My problem with Abby being hate for cheating on Ray is simply the fact that most people have no problem with him cheating on her because that's just who he is. It's part of his trauma. Something having a reason doesn't mean it's not wrong or that the person shouldn't take accountability for their actions. Ray cheats on her in every single season, even the one where she was dying of cancer. Some might argue that her catching feelings for the police officer is what makes it worse. But did we forget about Kate, the woman Ray fell in love with? Skylar. This is somewhat of an unpopular opinion, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm kinda scared of saying it. Whew. But she did not cheat on Walter. There, I said it. This happens often where someone doesn't want to sign the divorce papers and their partner is held hostage into a legal relationship. You can argue that legally they were together, but that's not how having a mutual relationship works. Both people had to be in it, and they weren't in it when she slept with Ted. I can give you emotional cheating to some degree because she was definitely flirting with Ted. And I wish God could make me forget about her singing happy birthday to him. Please, God, erase this from my memory. But if we're going to call this cheating, what do we call Walter kissing Carmen without consent? Oh, a bad state of mind, a lapse in judgment, or he just wanted to get back at her. You know, because of his big ego, so it's fine. Wendy. No matter the reason, like I said before, you still need to take accountability for your actions. Unlike Ray Donovan, her cheating is not cool, and people don't come floating to her defense because she's a woman. Cheating is sad, but it's sadder that some people think Wendy should have been thrown off the balcony with her lover, and that all Ray needs is more understanding and therapy. Do what you must with that information. The opposition. These previous reasons might seem valid for hating this group of women, though plenty of times these reasons are unfounded and unjustified. In reality, their biggest sin was opposing their husband's wishes and commands. Some viewers argue that Abby wanted to know too much, be too involved in what was going on in Ray's criminal life. But truth be told, she wasn't even involved in his non-criminal life. That man barely talked to her, treated her like a child, and was emotionally unavailable throughout the whole show. She was constantly asking him questions, which for some is the annoying part, but he never gave her an answer. He was the embodiment of a cricket. Although, unlike Skylar, she has some idea of what her husband was involved in. Skylar is a bit of a different case. She went from having a normal, quiet, nice husband to whatever Walter White ended up becoming. But some people expected her to just be fine and dandy with her husband being a criminal, a drug lord, and a killer. She married a chemistry teacher, not a Heisenberg. Heck, most people would have told Hank about it since the moment they learned he was a criminal. FYI, having someone commit crimes in the name of family interest doesn't mean you have to be supportive and thankful for their actions that go against your moral values. But well, if what you wanted was a supportive and involved wife, look no further than Wendy Bird. She was in it from the beginning. She gave the seal of approval. She became even more intertwined with the cartel than her husband. But he didn't want to be in the sight of the cartel, so I guess she's a problem and we'd hate her. And yes, I know she did horrible things. I'm not excusing that. That's not the point. I hope you see the irony of hating one character for what you want from another. The problem is that in each of these shows, the wife plays a role that opposes the main character's goals. But instead of finding the nuance and complexities of these characters' actions, they're called whiny and annoying, and that's the politest way they've been described. They're constantly judged harshly for having a natural human reaction and replicating the same actions as their husband. The worst part is that their husbands are doing far more hideous things and they don't get as much hate, if any. Of course, I'm not telling you not to hate any of these characters, but if you do, you need to be able to hold everyone else accountable. You can't hate Skylar or Wendy or Abby without hating Ray, without hating Walter, without hating Marty. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're interested in seeing my ranking of these shows, I'll leave it at the end of the video. All opinions are welcome, but please be kind. See you later. Goodbye.